This is real life. Any topic you wanna speak on. Two divas with the knowledge, survive the struggle, resume strong. Life trials and tribulations, been through it all. Experience much, I took some fall. But got back up, now it's time to ball. In God we trust, His word stand tall. There's power in the words that you speak over your life. Carmisha Stephanie's here to help you get your life back right. Speak victory and rise above any obstacles cross your path. Tune in and have a blast. This is Real Life Topic Podcast.
DJ Mr. Success.
Welcome to Real Life Topics Podcast, guys. Welcome to Real Life Topics Podcast. It's Thursday evening, 7-ish p.m. time, Central. Welcome to Real Life Topics.
Woo! Damn, I think ain't on. This thing ain't on.
No, this thing ain't on. We couldn't even get that together. Welcome to Real Life Topics, y'all. Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Welcome, y'all. Happy Thursday. Thursday, June 12th. Welcome to Real Life Topics Podcast. We just waiting on our special guest, our special exclusive interview with Mr. Derek Powell. But first and foremost, we want to thank God.
Who was the head of our lives.
Who was the head of our lives.
The waymaker.
The waymaker.
The life bringer, the giver, the taker of all. You understand what I'm saying? He paid it all, the cost of us, honey. We is here, blessed because of, okay?
We just want to thank God for this beautiful Thursday. Thank Him for blessing our children all this week and continuously blessing our children for the rest of the week at school or summer camp or whatever you got going on. We definitely want to praise God. That is the first and foremost shout out that Real Life Topics Podcast has to offer for you guys today.
And to be honest with y'all, we're going to shout out the rest of y'all, but to be honest with you guys, the only person that we need, okay? I'm just going to tell y'all right now because people are faulty, okay? People come and go, but your life and God in it is forever, okay? We want to be forever grateful and thankful for everything that we have, all the things that He have done, all the things that He will do, okay? Keep us protected, keep us safe, keep us mentally whole, physically whole. Because today's topic is mental health.
Mental health for men, men's mental health awareness month.
Yes, that's what it is. I got my Tupac shirt on. That's why I said it's men's mental health.
She put the Tupac shirt on for men's mental health awareness. Okay, shout out to Tupac. May you rest in peace, sir.
One of the ones, Lord. He's been gone for a long time, y'all. He was one of the it is so crazy as you get older and we have like the Michael Jacksons and the Whitney Houstons and you have to tell your kids about these things. They may come across music and it's like, dang, you was alive for a time such as that moment. You was alive to witness the greatness thereof, of certain people, places, and things,
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember, I know this is like probably way off kilter, but y'all remember Homie the Clown in Chicago? That time the man in the jump out van was taking all keys. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but
yes, Homie the Clown was a mess.
Yes.
He was a mess.
I remember we was going trick or treat. I was at my grandmama and them house on 99 from Wallace. Cause I keep saying Walcott. Shout out to 99 people. All the people back in the day that Southside shit. But I remember us going trick or treating, and they was telling us like traveling in droves because okay, so I guess I can answer this. We a little loud, but this is Real Life Topics. What do you?
Welcome to Real Life Topics, y'all.
A fan or something. Woo! Let's talk about it. I'm ready, Mr. Derek Powell. Get this interview going. Anything, what they say, Murphy's Law, anything that can happen will happen, and you just kind of sometimes you're not prepared, but you have to be prepared as best as you can be, and it just is what it is, Life sometimes, and you just have to take it as it comes, But it's okay. It is okay. We gotta put something back in so y'all don't be seeing all our business in the background.
Okay.
Some black paper.
Let's see our Real Life Topics studio. It's going down.
Oh.
I don't mean to laugh, y'all, but this is Real Life Topics Podcast, where we discuss the dynamics of life and real life stuff does happen. This is technical difficulty. We have an exclusive interview this evening with Derek Powell, and this is no script, baby. This is all real. And this is what we like about it. It's like reality TV. It's technical difficulties.
Nah,
but guess
reality
what?
TV
We
ain't
gon'
real.
the devil
We
ain't
real.
gonna get us though
We
tonight.
real. We
We're
real.
definitely gonna get it in. The devil is not gonna get us tonight. Don't even worry about it, bruh. Don't even worry about it.
Okay, so how can we do this? Because we're trying to, okay.
It's okay. It's just a signal. That's that Delaware.
Okay,
Come on, that girl. No, man. Oh, what you gotta say? Yeah, I told you so.
Girl. Don't, you can't say the wrong thing to me because once I pop the phone, don't stop like
Shout out to everybody that's tuning in to Real Life Topics podcast this evening and any evening, even after this live. If you checking us out when you come home from work this evening, shout out to all y'all. It's real life, baby. It's real life. We're waiting on Mr. Derek Powell. We got a technical difficulty. The signal is like totally off. But guess what? The devil ain't gonna get us. God gonna move it on through for us. Just do move and try to re-add because his phone was coming in way clearer than the laptop. Can you hear us, Mr. Powell? Welcome to Real Life Topics, y'all. We having technical difficulties with our exclusive interview this evening, but it's okay. We still gonna dwell on mental health, men's mental health. We're not a man, but we do know how important it is to support men with mental health issues and just support men with mental, and generally speaking, just the mental health wise. And just, shout out to all the men out there. Shout out to all the fathers as well. Father's Day is this Sunday coming up. Shout out to all of the fathers. Happy fathers.
Wanna-be fathers.
Uncles doing fatherly
all
duties.
All that stuff.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers all over the world from Real Life Topics podcast. You guys are loved. You guys are appreciated. And you guys are so cherished. You guys are supported. And just know the world, this is a man's world.
No, it's not. I'm sorry.
I'm jabbing because I was trying to give y'all a little quote mixed in with the James Brown thing.
Yeah, no.
This is a man's world.
It's not.
And it would be nothing, but it would be nothing. I just had to put that in there. But again.
I guess. No, I'm just
Yeah.
playing. I'm just playing.
It would be nothing.
Listen, but we have to create safe spaces for our men because there are so many of them out there for women. And a lot of the times, males don't feel like they can express themselves in the way that we can. So not only should we create them, but I feel like also men need to be able to create them because y'all can't just put it on us to create y'all spaces for y'all. Y'all have to create them for each other as well. We have sisterhood. You all have to have brotherhood. But you have to be your brother's keeper. Y'all too funny. I'm back.
Shout out to Mr. Ronnie Brown, baby.
What we do? We funny. Wait till you see us tomorrow. Don't know.
Shout out to my friend, Mr. Ronnie Brown, baby. Period.
Listen, we have to get back to the mental health. We get sidetracked. This Aquarius thing,
You got a comment.
This is a man's world. Good bang, good day, Mr. Thompson. This is a duality world where men and women thrive together. Y'all need to add me to the screen.
We don't see the ad. We don't have an option.
Go there. No, what's that? Yeah, what's that?
Don't know, but you know what I am gonna do? I'm just gonna do I'm gonna send a link again up in here. I already know y'all both are gorgeous women inside and out. That's right, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
That's right, Mr. Brown. Let me go on up here and try to send this again for the peoples. Okay. I'm finna send you a new link, Mr. Powell. I think the new link gonna go through this time around.
Yeah, but because he got through. The problem's not getting through.
I know. I'm just trying to re-register. Dang, I don't know my business with this. I'm just sending you a new copy page just to see if it's just a fresh start, sir. It's just a fresh start. See if that'll work for you. So just try that link one more time. But yes, and you are handsome inside and out. It's going down.
I want to get back to Sammy. I'm sorry, I don't got to talk shit. If this is a man's world, why y'all can't get y'all shit together?
But once again, I was trying to,
He started. I'm sorry.
He said, yes, it is. He know what he doing.
He trying to rally me up?
Yes, he know what he doing. Yes, this is a man's world, Carvisha.
No,
it is
not.
a man's world.
It is a human world. And if we stop, see, that's the problem because that's that divide and conquer mentality, honey. It is our world as a whole. We have to come into balance of the masculine and the feminine in order for us. That's what they mean. When they talk about marrying and the two becoming one, it's not just the man and woman, it's the masculine and the feminine. Oh, hi, Mr. Powell. Oh, look, it looks like it's
Hello.
Look at God.
Yes, lady.
Welcome to
We're
Real
gonna
Life
stay.
Topics Podcast, Mr. Powell. Welcome to
Yes,
Real
ma'am.
Life Topics Podcast.
Yes,
Welcome.
ma'am.
How's
Can you
your
hear me?
evening going? We can hear you.
Okay, my evening as well. So actually, I smoked like 3 cigarettes waiting for y'all.
we were here. No, I'm just playing. I'm sorry.
Welcome to Real Life Topics Podcast. This is Mr. Derek Powell. Everybody welcome Mr. Derek Powell from the Life Chat Podcast. Welcome.
The people's champ.
The People's Champ. Welcome, Mr. Powell. How are you doing this evening?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
We doing well.
A lady that we
I
finally
was
got it together.
I was watching y'all on the screen the whole time, and I was laughing 'cause y'all just had me cracking up the whole time. Y'all was just like going back and
Somebody else
forth with
said
it.
we cool and we be kicking it.
Right. Period.
Yeah.
Mr. Derek Powell from
Yes, ma'am.
the Life Chat Podcast. Could you
Yes,
please
ma'am.
tell everyone who is Mr. Derek Powell?
Who is Mr. Derek Powell? Mr. Derek Powell is a 51-year-old recovering person. I'm the youngest of 9. I'm from a small town. I'm from over on the East Coast. I'm from Delaware, a little teeny tiny state, the smallest state in the country. Um, I not when I say recovering person, I don't just mean from substances. I mean from life situations. Also, like trauma. One of my biggest experiences with trauma is watching my mother die in front of me at the age of 14 and still not fully grieving over that process, not fully grieving over that situation. At that age, I was always with my mother. You know, I'm basically a mama's boy. So and not grieving completely over that situation. I thought, like crying was grieving. That's like 5 to 7 steps, in that whole process, and I never reached that yet at the age of 51. So um, I believe that's like that was the biggest catalyst for me. That was my biggest experience that basically changed or altered my thought processes from then to now. Yeah. That's a little bit about me. Just a
Oh,
little bit.
okay. So what made you the name of your podcast is called Life Chat Podcast. How long has that podcast been out?
I started my podcast October 9th last year. And the reason I chose that name was because I wanted it to be about just life in general. You know, even though recovery is recovery based, but life situations, we discuss a lot of different things on the podcast. It's not just about using drugs, because
Right.
um, I think we should know by now that when we use drugs or alcohol, that's like a small part of it.
Mhm.
The underlying issues, is a reason why we use the chemical.
Mhm.
So that's why I selected that title.
Oh, okay. Life Chat Podcast. That's why you
hmm
chose that title.
hmm
Well,
Just
I
about
do.
just about life. Just about life.
Yes. Well, I do want to congratulate you for your effort. I'm so proud of you.
Yes, that's right.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
proud of you. It's a big battle to fight for recovery and just staying sober and staying sober minded. And how long have you been clean?
coming up on a year. I'm actually, what's today's date?
The
The 12th, 12th.
12.
Well, 12 more days to be 11 months. So I'm almost at the year mark. But
You
it
was
never
at the
stops.
11.
It's,
Oh,
it's
look at
a
God.
thank you,
Congratulations.
but it's a never ending cycle. I mean, it's never ending process. So I don't want to get caught up on that year and then the year and a day, then I go use again. So it's an ongoing process. So it's something that we should never like just make it like that's as far as we're
It's
going to
the
go.
final,
No,
right. Hmm.
no,
Well, it's like
because
you
we
say,
always say,
you're forever learning until you die. You'll be forever. I'm not going to say recovered in your healing process. So where are you in your healing process?
what do you mean?
As just far as where as you place yourself in life, because you say you are recovered. As far as the substance is concerned, but where are you in your healing emotionally?
I'm not recovered. I'm recovering.
Okay.
Emotionally, I'm still you know patching those holes up, and that plays a big part in my everyday life because of the way that I conduct myself. I still have um, situations that come up, and if I feel something on the inside, certain things that people might say or certain ways that people might say things still affect me now because of situations that happened way back then. And I think a lot of times people I think a lot of times we fail to look at those things, and we think that we think that we're acting out or we're doing certain things just because of the situation now. And sometimes, a lot of times, it's not. It's because of past experiences, past hurts, past traumas, and but we just act on it as a way of coping.
Yes.
A lot of times we see people, um, not to push off on anybody else, but a lot of times we see people act out or do different things in certain ways, and we say, "Oh man, they just tripping. They just doing this for this and that." And it's not even about that. It's about something else that's going on behind the scenes that we don't even know about.
So do you believe that you can let's say maybe get a person into a stage of recovery before they're ready, or is it something that they have to want to do?
That's something that you have to want.
You
That's
have to
something you have
want.
to want. You can't push anybody into it. You know, I don't want to take it to that old cliche saying about the horse and the water and all that. I don't do all that.
No, it's the
But
facts though. That is a fact. That is a
yeah.
fact.
But it's not until you're ready. It's not until you even. That's the first thing. That the whole thought. The thought is the initial step. Just the thought of I want to do something different. I know I can do this. I want to try something different. That's where I mean, you can be in a building, you can be in a rehab or whatever, but if your thought is not there to do anything with it while you're there, nothing's going to change once you come out.
And that's with anything in life. You can't
Anything.
anything, whether it be losing weight, gaining it, learning, or whatever, you have to be at the mind state to be able to do it when you're ready. And since we're talking about men's mental health, what is some advice that you can give someone who maybe is trying to get to the point to where you're at?
At this point in my life, I really try not to use the word advice. I try not to give advice. I may give it a suggestion,
Okay,
but
suggestion.
and it's a very fine line with those two. But
Hmm.
just try not to do it. Try not to do it. Try not to do it all by yourself.
Hmm.
My suggestion is reach out to other people. Try not to become overwhelmed. You will become overwhelmed in this process, and it is a process. You know, and lighten up on ourselves. I think a lot of times a lot of times we really like we get down on ourselves a lot. We beat
Hmm.
ourselves. We'll beat ourselves up more than the people on the outside will.
Hmm.
Nobody can hurt me more than I can hurt myself. You know, and that's one of the realest things I ever heard in my life. Was somebody told me that nobody can hurt me more than I can hurt me.
Hmm.
But yeah, but just try not to do it all by yourself.
Hmm.
Reach out, seek help. You know, I think a lot of times when people hear like therapy, like the word therapy, I think that sometimes when people hear the word therapy, they automatically assume the negative.
Hmm.
But there are millions of people that use therapy.
Yes.
Therapy is just a way of helping you cope with situations. Giving you the tools that you'll be able to move through life now a little bit easier. Yeah. It's not about you're crazy or None of that type of stuff. It's just a
Sometimes some
helping
people
hand.
say, I'm not talking to nobody about my business and all that when you say counselor, therapist,
That's
I
us.
heard it.
That's only
But
us. That's only
Right,
us.
right. But I've heard so
That's
many
only
people
us.
say that. I'm not going to talk. What I got to talk to them for? It's like,
Because you need to
no.
talk to somebody
but
about it.
you
You're traumatized for a reason. You need to talk to somebody about it.
but you know what's crazy about that, since you mentioned that? People, yeah, we will say that. We'll say that to people will say that type of thing. But you'll hear them on the phone and they're telling everybody around up and down the block the whole,
Okay,
you know what I
okay.
mean?
Trying
And
to get
those
some
people ain't gonna
therapy.
do that.
Trying to get therapy.
Yeah,
That's what,
yeah.
yep. That's what
And
I be
that's
trying
just
to
gonna
tell people. It's the same thing. It's just in a different way. Same stuff. It's
yeah,
just in a different way. You might not tell your business to that one personal therapist or a counselor, but like you said, Derek, you on that phone running your mouth.
running
So
your mouth.
what
Yeah.
difference does it make? What difference does it make? Okay.
We need to
Absolutely,
we
absolutely.
need to normalize healing, being functional,
Mhm.
not dysfunctional. We need to normal because dysfunction is normalized, like be on a wide scale. The delusion is real
Mhm.
in a lot of instances, but we need to
Mhm.
normalize being able to genuinely be who we are and being able to have a safe space to open up without being judged. Because, like
Mhm.
they say, let he who was without it pass the first stone, and a lot of us got it. So it is
Mhm.
good to be able to come across people who are able to tell their story and share it, because a lot of the time that's what a lot of people need in order to just be able to come forth and be able to heal. So we thank you for coming forth today and talking to us about this. This is very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, yeah. And I like um I was thinking earlier today when I was waiting another. I was in my hometown. This is not my hometown that I live in now. I was in my hometown at Walmart, and I was just sitting there, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to say when I got on here and how this was going to go, and I had to let it all go because I forgot it all anyway. But
Exactly.
you know, my whole thing is I like definitions. I like to whenever I do episodes and stuff, and if I have somebody on and we have a topic, I like to do the definition of the topic. So I had the topic, and it's on my screen right here on my laptop. The definition of mental health. It says mental health encompasses emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It is the way individuals think, feel, and act, which influences how they handle stress, relate to others, and make decisions. So, with all that being said, those three words, um, emotional, psychological, and social well-being, right? That's basically breaks down mental health. But a lot of times, as soon as we hear those words, mental health, we automatically go to the dysfunctional side. We automatically go to where they're nuts, they're crazy.
Right.
That's not what it is. That's now that's two totally different things. You're talking about mental illness, not mental health. Mental
Right.
health is basically dealing with your stability, keeping your mindset healthy, not the illness side, because now you're talking about something that you have no clue of at all, no knowledge of
Right.
at all.
Right.
We're not doctors, you
Right.
know.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just this whole thing is crucial, especially being. I really didn't want to say it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Say it.
Especially being,
Say
a,
it.
especially being a black man,
Yes.
because
Yes.
we really have to come together, and I was on another podcast and I was talking about this. I think we need spaces. We have to be able to put ourselves in spaces and settings to be able to talk to each other and get this stuff out, because as being raised as a man, or being raised from childhood, right? What do we hear as being little boys? Little boys don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
Men don't cry. We gotta be macho. We gotta be this and we gotta be that. Well, we have tear ducts for a reason, right?
You
You
have
know,
feelings and
you
emotions for
know,
a reason. They're there.
absolutely. But and all this, we have to bottle this stuff up. We have to live by these societal norms.
Mm-hmm.
Society says we have to be this way, and we meet a woman and she expects us to be this big burly guy that know how to fix cars and build a
Mhm.
house from the ground. I'm not doing all that. But
He said
you
he
know,
ain't doing. Wait a
I'm not.
minute, Derek.
I'm not doing all that.
We gonna get back to that. We gonna
I
get
know. That's
back to
why
that. You ain't
I
doing
know it.
all that. We gonna
I
get
was
back to
expecting it.
that now.
I was expecting
Yeah.
that from you. I was expecting that. But but people just assume that men are supposed to be this, something else. What about our feelings? What about our emotions? What about the fact that we may have been traumatized? You know,
That's
I'm
right.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna give you this example, right? And don't hold it against me. Do not don't hold it against me, right?
I'm already
Within the
holding it. I don't
last
understand.
Within the last few months, right? I know I've been trying to not to get involved in relationships because I know my process right now, and I don't want to take on other people's problems, other people's stuff, and stresses, and it's too
Yeah.
much for me right now. But I did try.
Okay.
It. I tried it a couple times, just didn't work. Red flags, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling my life is an open book, so I'm going to share this. A few years ago, I was stabbed in my chest by a woman, punctured my lung, landed in a puddle of blood, literally almost died. And so now, like when women like women I meet, and it's all good and fine, and they say that one thing, they say something, and it just reminds me of how that conversation went before,
You're
Mm-hmm.
and I got
traumatized.
stabbed in my chest.
You're
Yeah,
traumatized.
but people don't see that. People don't think that that's even real, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And just key words. Sometimes you might hear something or watch somebody, and they just do something, and it
You're
reminds
being
you of.
triggered. You're being triggered.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
real.
all that emotional stuff comes up. And
Mm-hmm.
if we're not, I'm not gonna say smart enough, but if we're not aware of ourselves and aware of what's going on with us, we'll try to stay in it and try to force it, and then that's where
Yeah.
we get hurt. Well, let me
Yeah.
rephrase that. That's when I'll get
Yes.
hurt. It may not be physical. You know, yeah. I just want to throw that part out there.
Yeah.
I ain't
So,
building no
so
houses either. Oh, come on.
we got. Okay,
Yeah.
we gonna get back to that. I got a question though. So, with that being said, when you do enter into spaces with people, are you more open about maybe having those conversations about things that have happened prior or previously? You know what I mean? So that way, and or maybe you're the person knows how to handle or deal with you.
You mean do I expose it? Do I put it out there?
Yeah, do you have that
Sure.
conversation?
I will have that conversation with anybody. Now I will. Now I will. But one of the first things that and my folks told me it might be an issue that I do this, but I do is I explain my process now, my recovery process now. I'm not going to use the words the whole recovery lingo in that conversation. But I'm just going to explain what I have done in my past and what I'm working on now. But and I don't think that a lot of people are ready for that. Because and which is fair. A lot of people don't want to put themselves in that situation where I'm afraid that you might use or I don't want anything to happen. That's fair.
It is.
But don't. But once you take it on and say, I can do it, I can deal with it, I can handle this and that, and then now you're looking around the corner trying to see what I'm doing, and I'm not. We're not. That's not what this thing is about.
Yeah, that's not
You know,
healthy. That's not
But
healthy.
at
I
all.
think that's one of the number one rules in the recovery. I'm not sure if that's one of the 12 steps, but one
Suggestion.
of them, huh?
Suggestion.
Okay. Well, I just know that in recovery that they say that you are not when you're healing and trying to stay clean, relationships is one of the number one no-nos. Trying to get
Yeah.
in the relationship with another. It's on
Yeah.
the list as far as one of the number one no-nos as far as in your healing process to recovery. They suggest
Yeah.
that you don't get in a relationship because it will trigger you to maybe
And it
relapse
will.
or something like that.
And it will. It
Yeah.
definitely will because, like I said earlier, you're taking on. You're not only just dealing with your own stuff that you already have. Now you're dealing with the individual that's by your side. Because it's not going to be. It may not be a super easy walk. So you already have your own issues, your own problems, you have stuff you're dealing with, they have stuff they're dealing with. Now you put all that together and it's like a bomb, a ticking time bomb, you know.
Yeah,
But
that's
a
I've
lot of
heard
times,
that a lot.
a lot of times it works, a lot of times it doesn't. I mean, it depends on how you know,
The
the
person, it
individual,
depends on the person.
how both people work it out. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just the certain things that you should just do in any relationship. What they say, honesty is the best policy because you at
what
least
is
give
that?
the person um, time to process and make their own decisions versus making those decisions for them. Because a lot of the times people try to hide who they are, and then you get into a relationship, and then all the other stuff comes out, and so
Yeah,
on and so forth.
yeah,
And then it's still not working. It still winds up not working out. So the best thing you can do is be very transparent, be as honest as open as you can be, and to be honest with you, I because like they say, you attract what you are. you'll more than likely vibrate somebody
Mhm.
towards you who may understand, you know what I mean? Or, you just give them the opportunity to be able to deal in the best way that they know how. My
I rather
thing
my
is,
whole
when we
thing.
talk,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
My whole thing
No,
with
go
that
ahead. I'm sorry.
situation is I always just wanted to put it out there first before anybody else, before somebody else outside try to come in and throw a wrench in there, you know. So I figured I'd
Yeah,
go ahead and
full
let you
full
know first.
transparency. That makes sense though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can't use nothing against me. This is who I am. Take me or leave me. It is what it is.
Mhm.
But just as we were saying earlier, I was talking about being able to create a space because, like you said, when we speak upon men, there are certain expectations that society has about men. So not and there are a million and two safe places for women. Whether you be battered, bruised, abused, recovered, healed, unhealed, this is a million and two places for women. And I was just saying how we need to create those spaces, but also men need to create those spaces because a lot of times you can't come to your brother and say certain things because then they have the same stigma upon you that society has. Oh, you a man, man up. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't. You know what I mean? So how do you deal with that? Do you create the space? What do you do? And when you come across situations like that, do you see your brother and acknowledge him? Because sometimes you can see a mental breakdown in the person before it happens, but it's like. I guess if you're not able to cope or deal with it, you don't really know how to maybe speak to a person. Um, what do you think about that?
Personally, you know, as I got older, I learned to discern. I
Yes.
like that word discern. I like that word. I like that word. I
Yes,
learned to be
yes.
able to. I like to be able to I've been able to recognize because I've been there. You know, if it's
Mm-hmm.
something that I really that's out of my wheelhouse, I might just stand back a little bit because I don't want to give somebody misinformation or suggest something or try to help somebody and it backfires. But if something that I know about, I'll approach. And that's only because I've been through it. And this is not my first time trying working on the recovery process. Uh, it's been a couple times, and I used to work in the field of recovery, um, and you know, substance abuse, mental health, and homelessness. That's my profession. Um, so I recognize a lot of different things going on outside of myself because I know what's going on with me. So I know what it feels like to be in certain situations because I've been there. And I'm not talking about no book smarts. I'm not talking about book stuff or the office stuff. I'm talking about my lived experiences. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, a lot of people sometimes I think sometimes we society I'm not, yeah sometimes society looks like kind of shies away from individuals because of the way they respond. But you have to understand a lot of people are coming out of situations that that's what that required. Um,
Trauma response.
like you have people that are living in woods. You have people that are living in tents. You have people that are sleeping on benches. You have people that are coming out of prison from doing a 44-year. One of my friends coming out of prison just did like 43 years. You know, so how is he supposed to respond to that? How are you supposed to respond when somebody certain thing or says a certain thing to you a certain way? You're only going to respond to the way that you were conditioned previously until you
Mm-hmm.
actually work your way back into um, what we would consider to be regular life.
Well, I mean, regular life from a societal perspective ain't really regular.
Quote.
It's not really. It's not real. I mean, let's just be honest. The reality of it is, um, just like I was saying, as far as creating spaces, we were just speaking upon something for young men. You know what I mean? There are not. I don't really see a lot of spaces out there for trauma and things that males go through for them to be able to heal and talk and have mentors. That's another thing that I find problematic in today's society. The men don't take on the men. Like they don't mentor. They don't take on. And I maybe it comes from a space of not knowing how to because of the things that they have been through, or maybe not wanting to put those woes or not or breed the wrong kind of energy into a child. But we need those things.
You
There's not a
also
lot of mentorship for men, young males.
we also had to remember this. There was a saying a few years. This was a long time ago. This saying, if somebody did something or said something, you would say, I don't know about Chicago, but I know like Philly area and all that. They would say, I don't blame you, I blame your old head, right? So like
Right.
it's not sometimes it's not the things that you might know. It's about the people whoever brought you in, whoever raised you. They may not have known. Maybe it's not their fault. And also we have to remember that these young kids now they're influenced by well, not just them, but a lot of people are influenced by videos, music,
Mm-hmm.
diamonds, gold, and that's all they know. But we also have to remember is a lot of times they're in the atmosphere. They're living with they're living with their friends, they're living with their homies, they're living with um, people that are getting high. They're surrounded by gun violence all day, every day. So if we really look at it, that's not even really that child. That child is traumatized. That child is dealing with PTSD and is undiagnosed. But the only thing that we see is how the child is acting out. But we don't realize that the child is living in a trap house where five people just started shooting at each other, and there's two people in the basement smoking crack, and somebody stole a car, and all this stuff happened within a week's time. And this is an ongoing situation. But the only thing we see is how the child is responding through their
Mm-hmm.
action.
Mm-hmm.
So do you believe that it's kind of like a generational curse upon our men, and how do we fix that? How do we go about getting mentor counseling to kind of maybe reverse what's going on in the older generation so we can save the younger generation? How do we do
It's
that?
just it's just about like I said earlier. It's just about the small batches. It's about small batches. One step at a time. There are some of us that are out here doing those things, but there's a lot more people that are not. So it's just we have to just play our part and help. If we can help, we can help. We can't try to take on the world at once, but each step is going to help make the world a better place.
Well,
That's the
they
way
say
I see
iron sharpens iron, so we got to
it.
get some sharp iron to be
Uh,
able to sharpen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's about just helping. If just you have to do what you can do, and grab on. Somebody else has to grab on. You can't. You're not going to be able to take on the whole world.
Yeah, you just have to do your part, but it's so hard because it's like when you know that there's so many other things that can be done. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So you have to
Yeah.
find the space. I definitely understand. Definitely, like I
Yeah.
said, creating the space for you all to be able to be comfortable, to be able to express your feelings without what one of our what you say. Most men don't want to share their feelings because
Right.
chocolate drop. He says most men don't want to share their feelings because they're looked upon as weak when they do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shout
So
out to Chocolate Drop. Shout out to Mr. Ronnie Brown. Mr. Ronnie Brown said, "Thank you for sharing your pain." Welcome to Real Life Topics, you guys. Shout out to Mr.
Yeah.
Holmes.
That's definitely true because a lot of time, as I said earlier, we have to be a man. We have to be super big, and we have to be show our muscles and talk a certain way.
yeah,
Yeah,
show
we can
your
do.
muscles
We can.
after you heal, though. After you heal, because how you gonna show
Hey,
your muscles if you in a depleted state? You can't pour into nobody else's cup until you feel your own. Like you
right.
said, you can't build the house like you say all the cliches. How you gonna be able to build your house up and you constantly giving your bricks away? So
Yeah.
with that being
Yeah.
said, men, y'all need to come together. I mean, because we can only do so much. We
Right.
we
Well,
have to get more of you all together to be able to create these spaces. I'm willing to. We were just talking about it, because we
well,
have
your
boys.
opinion might not count for the men. I'm just saying that's how they got programmed.
What
I'm
the?
just
What
saying.
the?
I'm just saying.
That was just a little too blatant, man. That was like your opinion might not count.
We trying. Listen,
I'm
because
just saying.
they say that women can't raise men, which
Right,
I beg to
right.
differ to a certain degree.
Yeah,
To a
I'm
certain
just
degree,
saying. Don't
because I
count.
get it. I get it. You know what
Kamala,
I mean?
Kamala wasn't coming no president. A woman ain't running nothing.
Don't
A
start,
woman ain't
girl.
running nothing around here.
All I'm saying is
That's a whole nother topic right there.
a whole other time for a whole other day, okay? But all I'm saying is we have to take time to we have to be soft at some point in life. It's like we just got these hard exteriors about ourselves because of the trauma from multiple generations before us. You know what I mean? So it's like we have to we have to relearn how to deal with each other in society.
Mhm.
Just like I speak upon in laws, like, we had all these laws that were created for us hundreds of years ago. I think all those laws need to be thrown in the trash, and we need to rewrite new. We need to become anew because sometimes the old things ain't working for the new. You know, so we have
But
to
if
figure
nobody,
out a way. Go ahead.
if people, if we don't come together and make this and let this be known, not too many things are going to change. Because as we already know, and I'm sad, it's sad to say we already know a lot of things are not designed for us to win, but
Exactly.
not even to win, just to maintain. A lot of
To
things are not even
thrive at
designed for us to
all, just to
maintain.
be. It ain't meant for us to
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Just be,
yeah,
just live, just breathe.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just was talking to her earlier about how men and women just need to understand that we are not the same. Just understand that and be okay with that. I'm not you not me. There are certain things that get me ticking and going, and certain things that get you ticking and going, and we may not fully understand those things, but we need to understand how to make it work for us, so we can come together. Because united we stand, divided we fall, and we are in a constant state of division, which is why we can't get ahead in life. And if we just really understand that it's as simple as being able to agree to disagree, but moving in a way that is beneficial for all of us, will be so much better off. We need to grow in that department because adults, as much as we get on these kids about stuff, the adults in this world, as far as we are concerned, we ain't got it together, and we need to get it together. We need to understand. Okay, we need to be able to be. It's okay. You operate this way, I operate this way, but how can we make it work for each other like a lock and a key? You know?
Could you make it work for anything else? I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, something else.
Now,
But
Miss Harris,
but that's
who is
but
Harris?
No, he
all
said
that
not
is
Mrs. Harris because I mentioned the president.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Don't even get me
all,
started. That's a whole other day, a whole other time.
all that is true. But we also remember that we still see it every day. We see. I'm 51 years old, right? We see 50-year-old dudes and 55-year-old dudes and 60-year-old dudes still going to the shop, getting the braids to the back, and trying to be the young cat, and they're still sagging the pants. I don't know where that came from, but they're
Arrested
still trying to
development.
arrested
Arrested
development,
development.
arrested development. Yeah, that's one of my favorite. When I used to facilitate groups, that was one of my favorite parts of the curriculum because you're trying to make up for lost time, and you still want to be a part of. And I was caught up in that, and a lot of it get caught up in that. But you have to pull yourself away from that eventually, man. I mean, we all like to look good and feel good and do certain things and have a little party, and
That's
but
why
you
we
got
need each
got to
other,
know when to
though.
bring it back. We got to know when to bring it back.
We need y'all because so I in my mind, men are you have the variable and you have the constant, right? So men are the constant and women are the variable, right? We're forever changing, you know what I mean? But we also need the constant because the constant grounds you. So we need each other in order for us to be able to grow in these areas. We need that logical, we need the emotional, we need all of those things. We gotta like put the gumbo to mix the stew together and get it to taste good so we can just, you know what I mean? So it can be something that is good for all of us, like the chicken soup for the soul type deal. You know what I mean?
Why you keep referring to food? Come on now. I saw your video the other day. You keep referring to food.
What
Come
you
on
mean?
now.
Apparently, listen, I cook. You don't know, but I cook. I tell them food is my love language, and you got to be able
Food
to
truck
relate.
coming soon.
You have to be able to relate to the people at a certain stage. Because if I start talking in a way that people don't understand, they're gonna be like, "Well, girl, you need to." So I'm trying to form it in a way that you'll understand, or for everyone to understand.
Especially when
Well,
you're a cooker like her. So
I understand food, so
cooking with
no.
Kamisha.
And most people do. Most people do. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
All
is
right.
real life.
Did you get my drift or no?
I I got the food part.
Oh, you don't understand nothing else?
I got stuck with the food.
Oh, you stuck?
I,
Okay,
but I
well,
understood. I understood what you. No, I honestly, seriously, I did understand what you were saying about bringing everything together. About it's not just about. It's not one lane. We got to eventually. We have to just bring. There's got to be. There's pieces of everything to make one. You
yeah.
know, um, th- different people have different thought processes. We have different ways of doing things. We have different ways of looking at things, different viewpoints. So if we bring those different viewpoints together, well, probably we have a better chance of coming up with a more positive, more gainful solution. You know,
Definitely.
yeah, I get that. I understand that. But the only thing I heard was that gumbo. I heard that gumbo.
I cooked that good, baby. I put the whole
Sure do. I always make sure I bring the ingredients over when she say she cooking them. I say, let me
pot.
I give me bring my pot with me and
Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. But
everything.
I did want to say this though. I did want to say this. I had two things to say, right? But I'm not going to actually be on too much longer. I actually have to get off in a couple of minutes, well, a few minutes. But I did want to say this to y'all. The whole setup. I see the whole setup that's going on now. Y'all doing big things right now. You know,
Yeah.
when I first started seeing y'all, things were a little fuzzy and
Yeah.
vocals and things were popping and but y'all stayed the course. Y'all kept going. I remember my very first video, my very first live when I first started my podcast. Trash. I'm talking about sucked. But that's what I'm talking about moving forward, just like this. If people give up, if people just throw in the towel, say, this ain't gonna do nothing, that ain't gonna do nothing, we'll never accomplish anything as a whole, as a group. As a group of people. The same thing, just like doing real life topics. The struggle is real, but you're still moving, you're benefiting, and I don't even know y'all really. Y'all from Chirac, I'm from over here, but
We're from
um,
Chicago, not Chirac. Don't put us in the
well,
Chirac category.
Chicago. Y'all from Chicago. Y'all from
We'll
Chicago.
go for Chat Town.
Y'all from Chi-Town. I'm over here. But as far as I'm concerned, y'all my friends. Um,
We're family.
and
We're
I follow
family.
y'all, right? And I'm just waiting for the day that y'all make it over here, or I make it over there. But yeah,
And the
or
rest
out
gonna be
there.
history. You know how like Cedric the Entertainer and Bernie Mac and all them had them stories about how they used to do the that I was gonna mix up a whole I was gonna say the chilling circuit. They weren't even around during that time. But you know what I mean? They all
Right.
went and was at the different places and spaces. It's gonna be a group of us that are gonna be able to tell the story of how we all started and how God has blessed us to get to where we are at that point.
I want to know what was the difference in what I said. What's the difference with Chi-Town and Chirac? What's the word? What's the word? What's the difference?
Well, Chirac is like
That's a derogatory.
represent
That's a
right. That's
derogatory.
derogatory, and usually kids use that lingo. You
I
know.
told you
Chirac, Iraq, war zone. We're not from the war
I
zone.
I get that. I get that part. See, I told you. Listen, I told you I'm
And
I'm
like
still
I said,
recovering.
the younger generation, they kind of do that Chirac stuff,
We are not from no Chirac. We are from the city. We definitely name of love.
See, y'all
Said
just
I
talk.
know there
See,
is a
y-
light.
y'all just taught me something that could possibly save me in the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do
No,
it.
no,
You
don't
know.
do that.
Don't do it.
No. Well, thank you so much, dear Mr.
Yeah.
Powell from the Life Chat Podcast. Please check Mr. Derek Powell out every Wednesday at 7-ish Central Time, but 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Am I correct?
No,
No. Okay.
7 o'clock Eastern time,
Okay, so
which
7
is
o'clock Eastern.
And what is it?
yeah,
What is it for
It'll
us?
be 6 p.m.
it'll be
Central
6.
Time.
Yeah,
So
6.
6
Yeah.
p.m. Central Time. Mr. Derek Powell, would you like to let everyone know who you are?
I'm sorry. I got one more question.
Okay.
Because you do a lot of interviews with people who are in recovery. What is one story? What is the one story outside of your own that has impacted you the most?
One story that's impacted me the most. There's several. Um, I'm not sure
You're not sure.
because they all. No, I'm not. I'm really honestly. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure because they all are.
Unique.
They're all impactful because majority of the people we walk the same path basically. So I really can't say one is more impactful than the other. I honestly can't say that.
Okay. That's
That's
understandable because I get that. I definitely do. I do.
I can't. I honestly can't put one over the other.
I get that. I get that. Well, go ahead. I'm
So,
sorry.
do you happen to have any quote of the day that you would like to leave with everyone?
Some
This is mental.
inspirational
This is
words or
mental health.
something.
This is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and like I said, Life Chat Podcast is based off recovery. And did you have anything to leave with anyone this evening?
Words of
A quote.
encouragement,
Words of
quote,
encouragement, quote for men.
something positive.
Yeah, mental health wise, what do you have? What type of quote do you have for to leave with us this evening?
I don't have anything philosophical. I don't have anything super huge, super dynamic to say, other than you're worth it. You know, be
That's right.
be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Don't throw in the towel. You know, because without us, without you, without us, without me, without you, none of this is possible. I mean, if you want to advance in life, you got to advance up here first. You know what I mean? Just give yourself a break. You know, give yourself a break, give yourself a chance. That's all I got right.
That's right.
Okay, one more thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's like the third time you said one more thing.
I got three more things.
Right, 3 strikes, you're out.
What is the epiphany moment that you had to get you on your straight and narrow path to get you to where you are today?
Being tired of not having, knowing my capabilities, and letting everything pass me by. Mind you, I started this journey in 2018. It's 2025 now, and I'm still at 11, coming up on 11 months. So there's been some relapses. You know, I had a few years of clean time in between, straight through, but there've been a couple relapses. But 2018 was when I made the decision to even attempt to give myself a break, give myself a chance, and try. You know, so I'm familiar with the process, but I just have to hold on. You know, but I'm just tired of letting my talents go, letting my not missing out on things. My family, the whole family thing, being out in the street, getting locked up for long periods of time, just not having, just not have what I knew I could have, or what I should, I'm not wherever you're at. That's where you're supposed to be, wherever.
What you want to be, what you want to be.
However you want to look at it.
Okay, well, we thank you. God bless you for your time, your effort, your presence. We thank you so much for your insight. It has definitely been impactful. You opened my eyes up to a few things as well. We thank you for joining us. Do you have any other words?
Thank you.
No, just happy to have Mr. Derek Powell from Delaware on deck. Check out the Live Chat podcast, 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern.
You got it. You got it.
Every Wednesday. Every single Wednesday. Check out the Live Chat podcast. Thank you so much, Mr. Derek Powell, for joining Real Life Topics podcast. Real Life Topics podcast will be on the Live Chat podcast very soon, so be looking out for that promo. And
yes, it will.
We truly do thank you. Your love and kindness will never be forgotten. Have a wonderful evening. God bless. Give it up for Mr. Derek Powell. Woo!
Thank y'all.
Have a good evening.
I'm out. Thank y'all.
And then back to you guys.
Now we ain't answer that. He said he wasn't gonna build that house. Let's get back to what he was saying.
But yes, Real Life Topics podcast just did an exclusive interview with Mr. Derek Powell. We definitely is going to have a real life late night after dark within the next 10 to 15 minutes. But thank you guys for tuning in to the regular segment with Real Life Topics podcast featuring our guest, Mr. Derek Powell from the Life Chat podcast. Check him out every Wednesday. Check him out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. See you guys in 10 minutes for Real Life Late Night.
Hey guys, it's your girl Stephanie and your co-host Carmisha. Tune out the world and tap into Real Life Topics podcast, where we converse about everything concerning the dynamics of life. Check us out every Thursday live on Facebook at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Life. Any topics you wanna speak on. Two divas with the knowledge, survived the struggle, resume strong. Life trials and tribulations, been through it all. Experience much, I took some fall. But got back up, now it's time to ball. In God we trust, His word stand tall. There's power in the words that you speak over your life. Carmisha and Stephanie's here to help you get your life back right. Speak victory and rise above any obstacles cross your path. Tune in and have a blast. This is Real Life Topic Podcast.
DJ Mr. Success.